The world's most powerful bombs have a history that's as destructive as it is shocking. From the first atomic tests to the largest hydrogen explosions, these weapons have shaped global power dynamics. Today, we're counting down the top 20 most powerful bombs ever created, starting with a bang and ending with the ultimate show of force. Number 20, W76-2, United States, 8 kilotons. We're starting with America's newest nuclear weapon, the W76-2. Don't let the 8 kiloton yield fool you. This warhead may not be wiping out entire cities, but it's still packing enough power to level a few city blocks, roughly the size of a large shopping mall. But here's the kicker. This bomb is built for tactical use, which means it's designed to be more usable in modern warfare. It's not just about raw power. It's about being precise and making nuclear weapons something that could be deployed in smaller, more targeted strikes. The W76-2, at only about 12 feet long and 2 feet wide, is compact enough to fit snugly into America's nuclear submarines. These stealthy subs carry the warhead in silence, patrolling the world's oceans, ready to respond when needed. Number 19, Little Boy, United States, 15 kilotons, August 6, 1945. Little Boy was the bomb that introduced the world to nuclear warfare, and its legacy still reverberates to this day. Dropped on Hiroshima, this uranium-based bomb exploded with the force of 15,000 tons of TNT, enough to level about a mile of the city's center. At nearly 10 feet long and weighing over 9,000 pounds, it was a sight to behold, but its power was far more terrifying than its size. Upon detonation, Little Boy unleashed a fireball that reached temperatures of over 7,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hotter than the surface of the sun. Within seconds, everything within a mile of ground zero was incinerated, and the shockwave tore through the city, shattering buildings and causing catastrophic damage. The intense heat caused clothes to spontaneously combust, while the radiation burned everything it touched. Number 18, Fat Man, United States, 21 kilotons, August 9th, 1945. Fat Man was the weapon that changed the course of history. Dropped on Nagasaki 3 days after Hiroshima, this plutonium-fueled bomb exploded with the force of 21,000 tons of TNT. At about 5 feet in length and weighing nearly 10,000 pounds, it wasn't just physically massive, it was a game-changer for warfare. Upon detonation, the blast vaporized everything within a 1-mile radius, obliterating homes, factories, schools, and hospitals. The bomb's intensity was enough to reduce the city to a smoldering ruin, but Nagasaki's hilly landscape helped somewhat to limit the devastation, unlike the flat terrain of Hiroshima. Still, between 40 to 75,000 lives were lost instantly, and by the end of the year, the total death toll would exceed 100,000 due to burns, radiation sickness, and injuries. But it wasn't just the physical destruction that made Fat Man infamous. It was the chilling realization of what nuclear weapons could do. The impact was felt long after the bomb fell, with thousands more dying in the following months and years from radiation poisoning and its long-term effects. Fat Man marked the beginning of an era where the world could never look at war or peace the same way again. Number 17, RDS-1, Soviet Union, 22 kilotons, August 29th, 1949. The Soviet Union's first nuclear weapon, the RDS-1, was a major turning point in the Cold War. Tested on August 29, 1949, this bomb was codenamed Joe 1 by the Americans, who detected its detonation. The RDS-1 was an implosion-type plutonium bomb, very similar in design to the American Fat Man bomb that had been dropped on Nagasaki just 4 years earlier. The resemblance was no coincidence. Espionage had played a role in shaping Soviet nuclear development, and they had learned a lot from the secrets of the Manhattan Project. With a yield of approximately 22 kilotons, Joe 1 had the power to obliterate an area roughly the size of downtown Seattle. While the bomb's yield wasn't as powerful as some later developments, the significance of its detonation was monumental. For the first time, the Soviet Union held the power to rival the United States in the nuclear arms race, and the nuclear monopoly was officially over. This shift triggered the full-scale escalation of the Cold War, as the US and USSR began to stockpile their nuclear arsenals. Number 16, Hurricane, United Kingdom, 25 kilotons, October 3rd, 1952. The United Kingdom's entry into the nuclear club was a seismic moment in history. On October 3rd, 1952, Britain detonated its first atomic bomb, codenamed Hurricane, in the Montebello Islands off the coast of Western Australia. This 25 kiloton plutonium implosion bomb was detonated inside the hull of the HMS Plym, a frigate that was used to simulate the detonation of a ship-based nuclear weapon. The bomb was designed to mimic the payload delivery of a smuggled bomb, giving it a unique maritime context in the Cold War arms race. The impact? Hurricane produced a mushroom cloud that soared to 50,000 feet, leaving behind a massive crater on the seabed and adding a whole new level of fear and fascination to the world's nuclear capabilities. The explosion devastated the surrounding lagoon, and low levels of radiation were detected, leaving lasting questions about the environmental and health impacts of such tests. It was a crucial step in establishing Britain as the third nuclear power in the world, following the US and the Soviet Union. The test also demonstrated Britain's nuclear ambition. From that day on, the arms race had a new player, and the secrets of atomic weaponry were no longer confined to just two superpowers. Number 15. W76-1, United States, 90 kilotons, currently deployed. The W76-1 is America's most widely deployed nuclear warhead, with over 1,000 of these powerful devices stationed on US submarines. This warhead, with a yield of 90 kilotons, is capable of wiping out an area the size of downtown Las Vegas. It's a formidable weapon in the US nuclear arsenal, designed to be part of the Trident missile system carried by the US Navy's ballistic missile submarines. Each Trident submarine can carry enough W76 warheads to destroy 90 cities. To put that into perspective, a single submarine holds more destructive power than all the bombs dropped during World War II. This makes the W76-1 a cornerstone of America's nuclear deterrence strategy, ensuring that the United States maintains a significant strategic advantage on the world stage. Number 14. Holbrook, United Kingdom, 100 kilotons, currently deployed. The Holbrook is Britain's most powerful nuclear warhead in service, packing a staggering 100 kilotons of explosive power, with enough yield to obliterate all of central Paris. It can create 5 miles of utter destruction. Deployed on British Vanguard-class submarines, these weapons serve as the backbone of the UK's nuclear deterrent, maintaining Britain's place in the world's elite nuclear club. Patrolling the world's oceans under the policy of continuous at-sea deterrence, one British submarine carrying Holbrook warheads holds enough destructive power to wipe out every major city in many countries. This ensures that even in times of crisis, Britain's nuclear forces remain ready to respond. The Holbrook is a critical part of Britain's strategic defense, with the ability to strike anywhere in the world in a matter of minutes. Number 13. W87, United States, 475 kilotons, currently deployed. The W87 is a modern thermonuclear warhead that packs a serious punch, with a yield of 475 kilotons, about 30 times the destructive power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. First developed for the Peacekeeper missile in the 1980s, it's now deployed on the Minuteman III ICBMs. This warhead is built for precision, able to destroy hardened targets like missile silos and bunkers. With over 400 of these warheads in active service, it's a cornerstone of America's nuclear deterrence, ready to be launched at a moment's notice. Despite its massive power, the W87 is surprisingly compact, fitting into a re-entry vehicle that weighs only 440 and 600 pounds. It's the perfect balance of size, power, and reliability. Number 12. Joe 4, Soviet Union, 400 kilotons. August 12, 1953, Joe 4, also known as RDS-6 was a critical milestone for the Soviet Union. Its first thermonuclear test, detonated in August 1953, this 400 kiloton bomb wasn't just another explosion, it was a game-changing leap forward. The bomb used a layer cake design, layers of uranium and lithium deuteride, mixing fission and fusion to pack an explosive punch that could obliterate anything in its path. Though it wasn't the pure hydrogen bomb that would follow, Joe 4 demonstrated the Soviets had mastered a deliverable thermonuclear device, capable of being dropped from an aircraft. The test was a message to the United States that the nuclear arms race was no longer one-sided. The balance of power had begun to shift. This bomb laid the foundation for the devastating multi-stage hydrogen bombs that would follow in the Soviet arsenal, proving that the Cold War was about to enter an even more dangerous phase. Number 11. B61-11, United States, 400 kilotons, currently deployed. The B61-11 is not just another warhead, it's designed to penetrate and obliterate the toughest, most fortified targets. This 400 kiloton thermonuclear bomb is the backbone of America's bunker-busting arsenal. Deployed on the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber, it can be dropped with pinpoint accuracy to destroy underground missile silos, command bunkers, and other high-value targets buried deep beneath the Earth's surface. What makes the B61-11 stand out is its ability to detonate at varying yields, making it adaptable for different missions. It's been an essential part of America's strategic nuclear deterrence since the 1980s, and while it's designed for destruction, it also demonstrates the US military's technological edge, with features like precision targeting and advanced safety mechanisms. This warhead is proof that the nuclear arms race isn't just about sheer power, but also the ability to strike with surgical precision when needed. Number 10. W-88, United States, 475 kilotons, currently deployed. The W-88 is one of the most advanced and unique nuclear warheads in the US arsenal, boasting a mind-blowing 475 kilotons of explosive power packed into a compact, egg-shaped design. The W-88 stands out due to its innovative, non-spherical primary stage, which helps it fit more efficiently onto missiles, maximizing payload capacity. This high-tech weapon is deployed on the US Navy's Trident II D5 submarines, and its MIRV capability means a single missile can carry up to 8 of these warheads, each targeting different locations with pinpoint precision. It's not just powerful, it's a feat of engineering. The Komodo primary and Kursa secondary stages were designed with advanced calculations that push the limits of nuclear weapons technology at Los Alamos National Laboratory. The W-88's small size and massive yield make it one of the deadliest weapons in existence, and it's been kept sharp with ongoing modernization programs to keep it in top form for decades. In fact, the W-88 has been at the center of espionage allegations, with reports claiming China obtained details about its design back in the 1990s, helping to accelerate their nuclear arms development. Number 9. Orange Herald, United Kingdom, 720 kilotons. The Orange Herald might not have been the thermonuclear bomb the UK claimed it to be, but it still packed one heck of a punch. Tested on May 31st, 1957, this British H-bomb, which was really a boosted fission device, delivered a massive 720 kilotons of explosive power. To give you an idea, that's enough to level an entire city, and then some. It was the largest fission bomb ever detonated, and a crucial step in the UK's nuclear journey during the Cold War. But here's the kicker. Despite being marketed as a thermonuclear bomb, to keep up with the US and Soviet Union, Orange Herald was actually just a huge uranium fission bomb with a small fusion boost, kind of like the UK's almost there nuclear weapon. Deployed during Operation Grapple in the Pacific, it acted as a backup after early fusion designs failed, allowing the UK to fill the gap until they could develop full-fledged hydrogen bombs. With over 117 kilograms of highly enriched uranium and a yield that could shake the Earth, this bomb made sure the UK wasn't too far behind the nuclear giants. Its explosion left a crater in the Pacific, proving just how much destruction Britain could dish out, even if the bomb wasn't as advanced as the US or Soviet models. Number 8. B83, United States, 1.2 megatons, currently deployed. The B83 isn't just powerful, it's the heaviest hitter in the US arsenal. With a yield of 1.2 megatons, that's 1.2 million tons of TNT, enough to turn entire cities into a smoldering crater or wipe out the toughest, most fortified targets. First deployed in 1983, this variable yield bomb brings the thunder with flexibility. Crank it up to full power, and it's total annihilation. Dial it down, and you still have a weapon capable of wreaking havoc, just with a little less bang. Carried by some of America's most iconic bombers, think B-2 Spirit and B-52 Stratofortress, the B-83 packs a punch that can reach any target. It's built to counter serious threats and destroy the toughest military positions, making sure the US nuclear deterrent stays sharp and ready for anything. Number 7. RDS-37, Soviet Union, 3 megatons, November 22nd, 1955. The RDS-37 marked a huge milestone in the Soviet Union's nuclear program as their first successful two-stage hydrogen bomb. Tested on November 22nd, 1955, this one was a clear statement. Dropped from a Tupolev Tu-16 bomber over Kazakhstan, its blast was so massive that it shattered windows over 100 miles away, sending shockwaves that were felt across the region. With a yield of 1.6 megatons, though it was scaled down from a planned 3 megatons, this bomb proved that the Soviets had cracked the Teller-Ulam design, the same method the US used for their hydrogen bombs. Physicist Andrei Sakharov, who would go on to become a prominent dissident and Nobel laureate, played a key role in developing this bomb. Number 6. Ivy Mike, United States, 10.4 megatons, November 1st, 1952. On November 1st, 1952, the United States made history with the Ivy Mike test, the world's first full-scale hydrogen bomb. This wasn't just a bigger bomb, it was a whole new ballgame. Ivy Mike used the Teller-Ulam design, unleashing an astonishing 10.4 megatons of destructive power vaporizing an island in the process. This thermonuclear monster had a yield nearly 500 times greater than the bomb dropped on Nagasaki. Weighing a mind-boggling 82 tons, Ivy Mike required cryogenic equipment just to keep its liquid deuterium fuel cold enough to function. The bomb didn't just produce a huge fireball, it also left a 1.9-kilometer wide crater, 50 meters deep, where Elugalab Island once stood in the Inuiatak Atoll. The test proved that the US had unlocked the power of fusion, ushering in a new age of unimaginable destructive capability. This was the dawn of the thermonuclear era, and the world's nuclear landscape was about to change forever. Number 5. Castle Romeo, United States, 11 megatons. March 26, 1954. On March 26, 1954, the US detonated Castle Romeo at Bikini Atoll with a massive 11 megaton yield. This was the first test of the TX-17 hydrogen bomb, marking the US's first deployable H-bomb. Unlike previous tests, Castle Romeo was detonated from a floating barge to prevent further destruction of islands, a result of earlier tests like Castle Bravo. With a yield much higher than expected, Castle Romeo demonstrated the potential of liquid deuterium fusion and significantly advanced US nuclear capabilities during the Cold War. It proved that large-yield thermonuclear bombs could be deployed effectively, cementing the US's nuclear power. Number 4. Castle Bravo, United States, 15 megatons, March 1st, 1954. On March 1st, 1954, the US detonated its largest ever nuclear test, Castle Bravo, at Bikini Atoll. This 15-megaton hydrogen bomb was more than double the expected yield, catching scientists off guard and creating one of the most catastrophic radiological disasters in history. The bomb, codenamed Shrimp, used lithium deuteride as its fuel and unleashed a massive radioactive fallout cloud that spread over nearby islands and even affected a Japanese fishing boat, the Fukuryu Maru No. 5, causing severe health issues and 1 death. The explosion itself vaporized islands, leaving a huge crater, and exposed Marshallese inhabitants and US personnel to dangerous radiation, resulting in acute sickness and long-term health problems. Castle Bravo showed the destructive power of hydrogen bombs, but also served as a stark reminder of the catastrophic dangers they posed, sparking international outcry and pushing for nuclear test bans, contributing to the Partial Test Ban Treaty of 1963. Number 3. Test 219. Soviet Union, 24.2 megatons, December 24, 1962. Test 219, detonated on December 24, 1962, was a massive thermonuclear bomb tested at the Novaya Zemlya test range in the Arctic. With a yield of around 24.2 megatons, this atmospheric test, carried out during the height of the Cold War arms race, was a show of force from the Soviets, just before the signing of the 1963 Partial Test Ban Treaty, which would place limits on such tests. Weighing in at over 1,600 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb, Test 219 was delivered via ICBM and showcased the immense nuclear power of the Soviet Union. The blast was so intense, it rocked the very atmosphere and served as a major catalyst for the creation of the Partial Test Ban Treaty, which aimed to limit the risks posed by such devastating weapons. This test marked one of the final atmospheric nuclear detonations and showed just how far both sides were willing to go in their nuclear standoff. Number 2. B41, United States, 25 megatons. Never tested at full yield. The B-41 was the most powerful nuclear bomb the US ever developed, a 3-stage thermonuclear weapon with an incredible potential yield of up to 25 megatons. While it was never tested at its full yield, just the thought of its massive destructive power made it a key player in the Cold War nuclear arms race. Designed to be carried by B-47, B-52, and B-70 bombers, this bomb was an absolute force of nature, capable of causing devastation on an unimaginable scale. To put 25 megatons into perspective, that's 25 million tons of TNT. For comparison, it's about 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb that devastated Hiroshima. Weighing about 10,500 pounds, around 4,760 kilograms, the B-41 was a true marvel of engineering, capable of producing explosive yields that could obliterate entire regions. Its design used highly enriched lithium deuteride fuel, which helped it achieve a remarkable 5.1 megatons per ton of device mass. The B-41 held the title of the US's most powerful weapon, designed to deter any enemy from considering nuclear conflict. Number 1. Tsar Bomba, Soviet Union, 50 megatons, October 30th, 1961. And here it is, the king of all bombs. The Tsar Bomba was the most powerful nuclear weapon ever detonated, a true behemoth of destruction that made all other bombs seem small by comparison. Tested on October 30th, 1961, during the height of the Cold War, this massive hydrogen bomb boasted an unfathomable 50 megaton yield, making it 1,250 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. But what really sets it apart isn't just its raw power, it's the fact that this bomb was originally designed for a 100 megaton yield. The Soviet Union scaled it down for safety reasons, but what they were left with was still enough to change the course of history. The Tsar Bomba wasn't just another bomb. It was the ultimate political statement, an unmistakable declaration of Soviet nuclear power. The bomb itself was massive, measuring about 8 meters long and 2.6 meters in diameter, weighing in at an astonishing 27 tons. It had to be carried by a specially modified Tu-95V bomber, because there were no standard aircraft that could handle its size. Once detonated, the results were catastrophic. The fireball alone was 8 kilometers wide. The mushroom cloud reached over 64 kilometers into the sky, higher than Mount Everest. The explosion was so powerful that the seismic shockwave traveled all the way around the world, and the blast itself was visible from over 1,000 kilometers away. Though it was a powerful symbol of Soviet might, the Tsar Bomba was too huge and unwieldy for practical military use. It was more about showing off the raw potential of nuclear energy than actually designing a bomb that could be used in a war. Still, its legacy remains undeniable. The Tsar Bomba's test highlighted the terrifying destructive potential of nuclear weapons, and ultimately led to international efforts to control, limit nuclear proliferation, including the Partial Test Ban Treaty of 1963. In the end, the Tsar Bomba was the crown jewel of the Cold War arms race, forever solidifying its place as the most powerful weapon humanity has ever built. While the top 20 list we've explored highlights some of the most powerful nuclear bombs ever tested, there are a few notable weapons from countries like North Korea, China, India, Pakistan, and Israel, whose details remain either unconfirmed or classified. North Korea's more recent tests, like the Hwasong-15, could potentially hold larger yields than publicly known, while China's newer thermonuclear designs likely rank among the strongest globally, though specifics remain shrouded in secrecy. India and Pakistan's bombs, while potent, tend to have smaller yields compared to the big players. Finally, Israel's nuclear arsenal remains ambiguous, with no confirmed tests or yield data available. Yet it's widely believed they possess thermonuclear weapons. These countries might have bombs that could make the top 20, but without full verification, their positions remain speculative.